So a few days ago, I was scrolling through X and Instagram like most people do, and I noticed a bunch of people were kind of reporting on the fact that there is supposedly a Evolution 2 that is going to be happening this summer within WWE. For those that don't know, a few years ago, WWE did a all-women's pay-per-view called Evolution with essentially just that. It was all women's pay-per-view. It was really fun. It was really cool, and it was awesome to kind of see where the women were at. And so them bringing it possibly back to summer, now this isn't confirmed. This is just something I saw. But I feel like when you see something reported by a lot of wrestling news sites, it's pretty much true, and you're just waiting on WWE to drop the official, post about it. So I kind of thought, what would be some matches that we would see on the next Evolution PLE that is supposed to happen this summer? And I kind of put together like this, fantasy card of what I think would happen. This isn't something of me just going full balls to the walls, total fantasy, what I want to see. I try to do a little bit of that, but also mainly tied into current day WWE and still keep kind of storylines and things like that together, while also primarily showcasing the women of WWE. So, first match I have, the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, Lyra Valkyria. Now, I assume this is an all-women's pay-per-view. We have these two kind of still very new women's mid-card titles with the IC and US titles. I feel like they're going to be on the line. So, something they've done twice now is they've done Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. The inaugural match was for the title, was them, and they did a rematch a few weeks ago on Raw. I feel like they're going to go for the three-peat, and maybe this is where Dakota finally wins the championship. So my first match is the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship match, Lyra Valkyria defending once again against Dakota Kai. My second match here listed is the WWE Women's United States Championship match. Chelsea Green has been killing it as United States Women's Champion, and so she's definitely going to be on the card defending that championship. When I looked at it, I thought there was somebody that I kind of had to get into the card because I figured they're going to be involved in the show anyways. This is relying on Charlotte not winning the championship at WrestleMania against Tiffany Stratton, which I hope is not the case. I hope Tiffany Stratton retains against her. So if that is the case, I could easily see the women's U.S. title match being Chelsea Green defending against Charlotte Flair. With that said, I feel like if that does happen, it's pretty much a given that Charlotte is going to win, which I don't necessarily want to happen, nor does she need that championship. But at the same time, I feel like you have to get her on the card somewhere. And when I was shaping out this card, I didn't really see a place for her other than here. So yeah, that's my second match. Women's U.S. title on the line. Charlotte Flair looking to dethrone the current champion, Chelsea Green. When it comes to the women's tag team titles, currently there isn't like a path to what's going to happen with those titles at WrestleMania. I am not sure what's going to happen. So I kind of threw this in here. I'm assuming whatever does happen, that Liv and Raquel are going to retain those titles at WrestleMania. So I put them versus the Meta Girls with the possibility of them facing maybe one or two other teams in a triple threat or fatal four-way tag team match for those tag titles. I'm not sure who those other teams would be. Maybe it's Piper and Alba Fire, who are with Chelsea Green. Maybe that's a team. The theory that a lot of people want for at least WrestleMania is having Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross coming back together, because we know Alexa Bliss is definitely going to become a member of the Wyatt Six when they are back on TV. So if that happens by WrestleMania, maybe at Evolution they'll be involved. But I feel like the Meta Girls definitely deserve another title shot. I feel like they're on their way up to the main roster at this point, pretty much. I know they're still in NXT currently, but they're definitely kind of on the tail end of their run in NXT. So I think another way to help cement them, I know they had the tag title match at Crown Jewel, or they were involved in that tag title match a few months ago. Let's bring it back and either give them a solo shot against Liv and Raquel, or put a team or two other teams in that match and make it a bigger match to include more women's tag teams. Another match I have is a dream match. It's in my thumbnail here. Stephanie Vaquera, the current NXT Women's Champion, as well as the current NXT Women's North American Champion, against Rhea Bloody Ripley. I just feel like this is a dream match. I don't think you need to put the titles on the line, because if you do, I feel like Rhea is going to win in general. So you're probably not going to put the NXT Women's title or North American title on Rhea Ripley, because she's probably not going down to NXT. Or maybe she does. Maybe not that she doesn't have anything on the main roster, but she's done a lot and whatnot. So maybe if she doesn't win back that title at WrestleMania, maybe she gets a NXT title run and she goes down to NXT. I wouldn't be opposed to that for a couple months if she's down there in NXT, just to give her something else to do, similar to how Becky Lynch, when she went down, she didn't have much to do on the main roster. There wasn't much of a story there. So they kind of said, let's send her to NXT and let her have a run with that NXT Women's title. So if they did that with Rhea, that'd be cool. But more so, I would just imagine that the titles won't be on the line. But in general, I think that's a dream match that a lot of people would like to see: Stephanie Vaquer versus Rhea Ripley. Next, this is probably the biggest story on the show. I'm not sure. Again, currently the path to WrestleMania, I am unsure as I'm recording this. I know Bianca Belair is obviously in the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match, but she clearly has a story as well going on with Jade and Naomi, that Jade and Naomi are kind of mainly involved in currently while Bianca's doing that. But I would imagine after WrestleMania that it's going to come back around, and that Bianca's going to be focused on that storyline. Whether she's champion or not, I'm not sure. But if she is World Heavyweight Champion, you could easily just make this a title match. But I think possibly at WrestleMania, we're going to get the Jade Cargill versus Naomi match that a lot of people are excited to see. So if we get that match at WrestleMania, I definitely think at Evolution, you can then do that with Bianca and make it a triple threat match. Again, if she's world champion, you put the title on the line. But even if she's not world champion, you still just have that big story there of, okay, now Jade and Naomi have had their match, but now Bianca's involved because Bianca was already involved, so now you get the triple threat match. So that's probably the biggest story on the show that I have, would be a triple threat match between Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. Another match I have on the card here is Roxanne Perez versus Bayley. Going into the Royal Rumble, we had kind of this feud going on NXT and on the main roster between Roxanne and Bayley, and they never really got their one-on-one match. They had a moment in the Rumble, I believe, and then they had the Fatal 4-Way match with them and Julia and Cora Jade, but they never really got like their straight one-on-one match that I believe. For a while there, I thought maybe that was going to be a match on WrestleMania, but now after Elimination Chamber and things like that, which they also had a moment in, but after Elimination Chamber, Roxanne hasn't necessarily been too much on TV. She hasn't been on Raw or SmackDown. She's been on NXT. She had that match against Jordynne Grace, but since that match, she's just been gone. She hasn't been on NXT TV. She hasn't been on Raw. She hasn't been on SmackDown. So looking at WrestleMania, I don't necessarily think that match is going to happen at WrestleMania, just because we're maybe a month away and Roxanne is kind of nowhere to be seen at the moment. So I think maybe this is where they actually do the match instead of WrestleMania. At Evolution this summer is where they can really do the actual Roxanne Perez versus Bayley singles match. I know a lot of people want to see that. I want to see that. Roxanne Perez is my favorite female wrestler, and Bayley has always been one of my favorites, so I really want to see that match. So I think this is the perfect place to do it at Evolution. Showcase, one of the best who's been one of the best for years, as well as showcasing one of the best who's now becoming one of the best. I think that would be a really cool match. Semi-main event, but to me, it is the main event. I just feel like the actual main event is probably the bigger headliner. But to me, this would probably be the true main event and probably match of the night. Again, maybe the title's involved, maybe it's not, depending on what happens between Io, Bianca, and Rhea. I'm not sure. But Io Sky versus Julia. Two legends in Japan who have now been in WWE. Julia more recently coming over, losing the NXT Women's title, and she's been gone for a little bit. But I think a great way to reintroduce her is to have her do this program and this match with Io Sky. I think a lot of people would really, really want to see this match. So yeah, it's simple to the point. There's not much I can add. Dream match, two legends from Japan that are finally going to meet in the ring in WWE. Again, if Io retains at WrestleMania, maybe you put the title on the line, and if she doesn't, you still just have this incredible match that a lot of people would really want to see. And my main event, I feel like this was the first match I thought of. Going into Elimination Chamber in Toronto, you had Trish Stratus involved, and you ended up having Nia Jax and Candice LeRae versus Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. So I think as now you have Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte scheduled for WrestleMania. I'm hoping Tiffany Stratton kind of retains the title at WrestleMania. And I think, again, even if she doesn't, you still have the match. But I think it probably would be better if the title is involved. So yeah, dream match that I just see plain as day possibly happening is Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. Again, they teamed up in Toronto. But there's definitely a want for them to have an actual match against each other. So, yeah, and maybe this would be Trish's kind of actual retirement match. That's on her. But I think a great send-off would be main eventing, this all-women's pay-per-view against Tiffany Stratton. And, again, if the title's on the line, and even if it's not, you still do the same thing. But kind of Trish maybe letting, Tiffany win. Not letting her win, but behind the scenes, Tiffany, getting the win there, going over. and Trish kind of putting her over, passing the torch. And again, if it's Trish's last match, she passes the torch, and that's that. So yeah, just to recap, I have the women's IC title on the line, Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai 3. The U.S. title on the line, Chelsea Green versus Charlotte Flair. Liv and Raquel defending the women's tag title against the Meta Girls, and the possibility of maybe 1 or 2 more teams in that match as well. A dream match between the NXT Women's Champion and North American Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer and Rhea Ripley. Triple threat match with the possibility of a title being on the line between Bianca Belair, Jade, and Naomi. Again, I don't necessarily think it needs a title, but if Bianca is champion, then why not put the title on the line? But the story is there; it doesn't need a championship for the reasoning to be that this match is going to happen. You know, Roxanne Perez versus Bayley, another match that a lot of people want to see. Io Sky versus Julia, 2 Japan legends facing off in the WWE ring. And yeah, the main event, the headliner that everybody would be talking about, is Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus, with possibly passing the torch and the possibility of having that title on the line. There could be more matches that are in this. I'm not sure. I'm going to say this even though there's a lot of NXT representation, maybe a little more NXT representation or something like that. Maybe a battle royal to kind of get a lot more women on the card there to open the show or something like that. Things like that I definitely would like to see. But these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches that I have here, I think are great and perfect representations of the women's division and the future of the women's division as well. So yeah, if you like this video, it's just a quick little thing I thought I'd do. I just recorded a podcast with Theo for the week, our OTS project. We talked about our top 5 Disney rides. But I thought, while I'm here, might as well make the video on my Evolution fantasy booking card here that I have. So yeah, if you like this video, let me know. If you want more, let me know. I really kind of enjoy stuff like this. I love fantasy booking and logically thinking it out. So yeah, you can follow me at OTS Bridger on everything, on X, on Instagram primarily. Those 2 are the main that I probably use. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video.